Today's agenda is got 4 components to it. We're going to talk a little bit about IPFone, and I know a fair amount of the people on this webinar today are customers, prospective customers, or technology professionals, and we'd like to bring you up to date about some of the things that IPFone has done over the last few years. We will talk about the new work environment that I alluded to in my opening remarks, and then, of course, we will get into the crux of the matter, which is introducing IPFone with Cisco Webex, its features, benefits, and value to enterprises. And then Abraham will do a live demo of the product to really show you how it operates. Okay, so about IPFone. So just a little snapshot of who we are, because when you buy a product or service, that one thing is to get the product and service itself. The other one is who is handling it for you, who's doing the transition, who's making you feel comfortable in making a wholesale decision to change platforms. So IPFone has been in business, as you can see, for over 22 years. We're headquartered in North Miami, as many of you know. We are a UCaaS, which is Unified Communications as a Service, SD-WAN, which is related to simultaneous internet, contact center or call centers, as you might know it, and we also provide DIA, or dedicated internet access fiber, anywhere in our marketplace. We've been a Cisco partner since 2002. Cisco then is as like a household word. It's a brand that people know, recognize, and are comfortable with, and makes decision making easier when moving to this kind of platform. Some of the other products that we and technology classes that we offer are, for Cisco, Polycom, Yealink, and Cisco phones for the hardware for your desks. And we have data centers in Miami and in Dallas with simultaneous uptime to make sure that everything stays up and running. So we like to call our company with our offerings the power of one. And we did a lot of surveys and a lot of questions to our customers, and they like the idea that they have one back to pat. I won't say the other one, but they like having one company provide all the products and services on one bill from one company. So they have one call to make, should you need us, and one point of contact. And it makes it a lot more simple than going through a lot of different bills and a lot of different companies and service locations and numbers to dial. So our customer care, we'll boast a little bit about this. We boast a 99% retention rate with our customers, of which we have about 4,000 separate logos and over 50,000 users using our product and services, by the way, worldwide. So our claims to fame and why people really enjoy working with us is that all of our installations and deployments are done on-site at the premise location of the buyer. So we do not we don't do anything over the phone. We don't send things to people. We go. All the training is done, because anytime you're moving to a different kind of platform and or service or something that's new and novel, training is critical. So we train your people and your customers until they know what they're doing, and then we can have retraining at will. We like to call ourselves a white glove onboarding concern. So every customer that does business with us gets to talk to real voices. We have project managers, service people, technicians, trucks on the road. So everybody that you encounter works for IPFone. All right, so that's a little, thumbnail on IPFone. We hope that the customers that we have online here today have enjoyed their experience with us, and the ones who are thinking about it, we encourage you to give us a go, of course. So let's talk about the new work environment, really, which sort of hones in on our presentation today. Here's some fun facts, if you will. The big numbers, and some of you I'm sure have seen these kinds of numbers before if you're paying attention to business periodicals and studies that are being done about what's happened over the last year, particularly. So the distributed workforce has doubled during and post the pandemic, which means that people are working from their homes, remote offices, nationwide and even worldwide. Okay, I ran into an interesting story. I was at a customer yesterday, and I was talking to someone who worked there in the accounting department, and the person just got the approval to move from Western Florida, closer to their family in Georgia. And the company said, no problem, they can do their job remotely, they have all the tools to do it. So this is what's happening around. It's also good for companies who are hiring, because now you can hire people from basically anywhere on the planet as long as they have the tools to do the work that they need to do, all right? So meetings have become omnipresent. Everybody's in meetings all day long. I made light of it when I talked about how many webinar invitations that we get or how many video meetings are happening. But based on that, that's 25 to 30% of the workday in meetings. So the products that we have and we're going to be showing you are those that can help you organize those meetings with the finite and the people that you want in that meeting only. Millennials, unlike myself, of course, if you looked at the picture and the color of my hair, millennials will be 3/4 of the workforce by 2025. So I grew up on 8-track tapes and Walkmans. The people who are going to be working in 2025 are opening up to a virtual reality, virtual work, remote work, and hybrid work organizations. So things are in fact changing, and we must embrace it as organizations. So here's some of the challenges, based on some of this is brought to us by the people at Cisco who did intensive surveying and questioning some of their customers. So the concerns that some companies have right now is to make sure that the productivity and engagement they get out of their employees is paramount. The organizational silos and poor communication allows it's hard sometimes to get the people that you want together at a certain time without the organization tools to do it. Fragmented business tools and workflows. In other words, many companies still are using a diverse group of products and services offered by different companies and do different things. So there's no continuity between their platforms. Competitive pressures and brand reputation. Every business I know has competitors, and you can bet your bottom dollar that your competitors, if you're an enterprise, are looking at products and services like this to make themselves better. So it's important, if you will, as the cliche goes, to keep up with the Joneses. Employee retention and satisfaction. It is pretty well disclosed that having these kinds of cohesive operational tools in your company makes the employees feel better and feel more included in the activities of the company, which keeps them happier and more content. So, and lastly, of course, enabling dispersed and remote workers. We've been talking about this for a while. Companies have just moved out. In our own company here at IPFone, I've been working out of my home in Boca Raton for a year, but I feel just as productive. I took the hour and a half to drive here today, which I did to our North Miami office. So, and when you think about it, if you commute for an hour each way, it's 1 day a week. So from a productivity standpoint, it certainly is beneficial. All right, so the benefits of the product that Abraham is going to demonstrate to you in just a few minutes is by design. And these are the things that we'd like you to look for when you're thinking about these kinds of attributes in your own concern. It'll improve employee engagement and productivity, accelerate responsiveness and time to market. In other words, the customer experience may be better if you can get back to your customers faster by the right people at the right time. It helps you to retain your customers and employees. Some people have to move, and you hate to see a great employee who may have to move for a particular family reason or some other reason be lost because they're moving out of the geography. You can retain customers because it's agnostic. And we can be more agile and compete more effectively, because I think that the saving of the time, energy, and management of customers, people who call, people you want to get to, is much more effective. So I'd like to introduce you to IPFone with Cisco Webex. So it does 3 things, all right? 3 very important things. It offers the integration with your phone system, which many of you are using the IPFone phone system at this time, and can be easily implemented or integrated with the new messaging service via Cisco Webex. all of our communication and messaging is encrypted, which means that all of your messaging and what have you is in fact protected in the network itself via Cisco. So the three ways, and this is really the bottom line, these platforms like IPFone with Cisco Webex allows users to communicate in the way that they want, when they want, from where they are, from any device, at any time. So the flexibility of how you communicate is grown exponentially. There was a time when all we could do was make a phone call. Okay, there was a time when texting was something separate. You had to look at different devices to find out how somebody got a hold of you. And God forbid you should try to find an email. If you're like me and get 700 emails an hour, it's hard to look at the one that somebody says, "What'd you think of my email?" So all of that now can be moved into the platform, particularly for internal communication in your organization. So that being said, we've gone through the features of it, the concerns, what to look for, what should some of the benefits be. So I'm going to turn this over now to Mr. Abraham Sue, our senior sales engineer, and as I like to call him, it's a boy named Sue. Take it away, Abe.
Thank you, Sue. Thank you. All right, I'm going to go ahead and take over the share. Excellent. So here we have is the Webex desktop application. I'm going to be showing you today both the desktop and the mobile. And currently you're looking at the desktop. And the first thing I want to show you on the upper left corner is my portrait with my user information, my availability. Currently I have it to do not disturb since I'm doing the webinar today. This will suppress any inbound calls or notifications. And you can also see that you can actually have a custom status. I currently have in a webinar status. And of course, you can select any of these or create any new status. And now over here we have spaces, and there's two types of spaces. There are direct spaces that you can direct message to someone, or you can create a bigger space that has multiple people in it. So for example, if I select the space here for Maria, you can see that her and I have been collaborating, and we're able to share attachments, messages, and all of that gets saved into the cloud, encrypted end to end. Of course, down here we can basically chat. I can type in anything, or I can do an attachment. I can do a screen share or a screen capture. I can change the text format, so I can come over here and change this, the actual size, bold, italic. We have emojis, GIFs, if you wanted to do that, if you want to. I can actually paste my meeting room, my personal meeting room to her. So if I click on this icon here, it automatically shows my personal meeting room where she can join and we can collaborate together in a meeting. You will also notice in the upper right, you have the option to screen share. You then have the options to call, audio call or video call. And you also have the options to choose between a direct number, or I can call her as a WebEx call. So I can call her to her direct desk phone or direct user, or I can do just a WebEx call as well. Next tab here is the profile. I can see her profile, her email, her personal room information as well, her direct number. Then we have a contents tab here. So this tab here allows you to show you any shared contents very easily to find instead of scrolling through the history. You can share whiteboards with her. You can also view any links that were shared in this particular space. I can schedule a meeting with her. So I can over here select schedule a meeting. This will easily pop up your native calendar. In this case, mine is Google Suite, but you can also use Office 365. And you'll notice that it'll open up the calendar invite for the one I'm choosing with Maria, automatically fills in the meeting information for our space. And then over here, I can add additional guests if I wanted to. I can change the date and time. And of course, I can also change the subject for the meeting. So next we have is a larger space. So for example, if I come here to general, you'll notice that here, it looks the same as the direct space, except we have a people's tab. So here in the People's tab, you can add multiple members to this space, and everyone can see all the messages, content sharing, any links very easily. And then again, if I go to content again, you'll see any files that have been shared in the past. Very easily, you can find those, as well as I mentioned with links. So here are the different links that were shared in that message history. So it makes it very easy to find particular content. Now, if I were to come here and schedule this particular space that has a larger amount of users, I can go ahead and schedule this, and you will notice that it will automatically invite everyone that's associated to that space. So here's all the members in that particular space. So it makes it very easy to start a meeting for a project that you might be working on. Next we have here is Teams. So in Teams, you can create multiple spaces in a particular team. So here are a bunch of spaces that we're going to commonly use amongst all of our members. And once I add the members to this team, they all will have access to all these spaces that I created here. So that's the difference between teams and spaces. So this makes it very easy to everybody to have resources available to them by just adding them once to that team. All right, next icon I have here will be the contacts. So here I can see all of my top contacts that I added. I can hover over their portrait and it'll give me more information about that user. So if I hover over here about Armando, I can see that I can chat with him. I can call him directly from here. I can see his email, his direct number. I can also see his personal room. So if I click on join personal meeting, I would join his personal room. And then he will get a notification being advised via email that somebody's waiting for him in his personal room. If you notice anyone that's inactive or away, it'll let you know exactly how long they've been away. So you know that that person is not available at the moment. If they were to show their, do not disturb, it'll show this little moon with the red, letting you know that they're currently on do not disturb. You can also see their messages here, their statuses. So we can see that Aubrey is working from home. We also have Damien working from home. And if you wanted to search for a contact, you can do that up here in the search box in the middle of the taskbar. So if I look up, let's say, for example, Abe, it'll show up anything that matches with Abe under the people, which is under the organization. And then it'll also, if you have Outlook installed, it'll search your Outlook contacts as well. So you can see that I have here Mr. Abe as an example. And if I were to click on this contact for my Outlook, it'll pull that information. So here's my direct number, and I can call this contact directly from here. Next icon we have here is the actual dial pad. So here's your actual call history. We can see in red your missed calls, and I can also sort it by only missed calls if I wanted to. And of course, I can also dial by extension or any 10-digit dial. So for now, I'm going to dial the auto attendant, and I dial, and this is how it'll look. So I can mute this, I can see the keypad, and then I can also do a conference. I can put it on hold or transfer this particular call. Right. Now you'll notice that I can also use, I'm currently using my computer, but I also have a desk phone. So I can actually select my desk phone as my primary device when initiating calls. So if I do select my Cisco phone, it will then send any calls that I send through this dial pad to my actual desk phone automatically. Right. Next we have here is visual voicemails. So here I can see any of my voicemails. I can hear them in any order I want. As you can see, you have a little blue dot letting you know this is a new voicemail that I haven't heard. I can delete it from here, or I can mark it as read or unread. And then I can also call my voicemail from here if I wanted to make a change to my greeting. All right. Then we have is the calendar. So over here, we can see that my calendar is linked to my Gmail, so we can see my calendar agenda for today. I can start a meeting from here, but since I'm currently in a meeting, it knows that it grades that out. I can join somebody else's room directly from here, so I can search their name or pick them from the list and select join. And then, of course, I can schedule a meeting directly from here. So this, again, will open up my calendar, automatically populate my meeting room information. And just so you know, this meeting room is reservation-less, meaning that you don't have to create it every time. It's always open 24/7. So although it's open, let's say you might overlap a meeting, you can actually lock your meeting when all your participants are in. You can lock it. This way, let's say you do go over your meeting, the next meeting is not able to join till you end and remove that lock. Another thing I want to show you is that we have the options to offer SMS. So for example, I'm going to show you this space right here. So this space here is my actual cell number, followed by my direct number. Then over here, if I wanted to send a text message, let me actually show you how that looks on a mobile. So this is my mobile here. I'm going to get out of here for now. I'm going to send a test SMS. So I type in the SMS bot, which is the gateway for our SMS for outgoing. Morning. So here we go on the mobile on the right. You can see that I got my new text message. I'm going to open that up. So I got the text message. Thanks. Got it. I'm going to go ahead and send that back. And you will notice that it arrived here. So we can send SMS text message to mobile devices. They won't know that they're actually sending it to an application like we're using today. And a neat feature is that since we're using this as a space, you can actually add additional colleagues or anyone that can help you respond to these text messages. So this could be like an SMS to your main number, and you can actually have maybe 5 people monitoring that SMS or so that they could reply for that customer. So that's a pretty neat feature. You'll also notice here in blue letting you know that these are new messages that I haven't read, and automatically all new messages start getting sorted to the top of the list. But I can also add favorites. So once I add some of my favorites, it'll actually make it as a sticky, my favorites menu up here. So these will always stay here since I marked them as favorite. And then the ones down here will automatically update as new information gets populated. All right, another thing, while we have the mobile app here open, I can show you how it looks on the mobile app. And as you can see, everything is synchronized. So you can see everything is identical as the desktop application. So if I click on Maria, you'll see that everything is there, identical to as if you were on your desktop. I can see the teams. I can see the contacts. Give me a second. And then I can also see calling. So over here, I can see my call history, missed calls, my visual voicemail, like we saw earlier. And then most importantly, let's say, for example, I actually initiate a call from here. Let me just call the auto attendant. There you go. I'm currently in a car now, so I can't initiate the call. But you're able to actually pull the call from one device to the other. All right, so if I had the call here on my mobile, I can pull the call to my desktop. And if I had the call on my desktop, I could pull it to the mobile or even my desk phone. All right. Next we have here is on the bottom left here is the App Hub. This allows us to view many bots or applications that people are developing from Cisco. So you can see that there's a lot of criteria here that you can use for healthcare, developer tools, social media, things like that, that you can integrate within this Cisco Webex. So there's different types of bots. For example, we use one for a birthday bot that makes sure it tracks everyone's birthday, and it reminds everybody in a single space that it's someone's birthday, and then everyone can congratulate them. We also have a bot for the SMS, as you saw today. And of course, a lot of these applications here is to help improve productivity. So we have for meetings, we have for messaging, we have for calling. All of this is available. Right. So let's see. Okay, so if there's any questions, I think we're out of time, but if there's any question, let me check and see.
Abe?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so just a quick note. Abe went through, and I hope you enjoyed it, by the way, and saw that it's how flexible and how compound it is for your business. But at the same time, there are different levels of IPFone with Webex services. And there's a, without getting too deep in them, there's a basic, a standard, and a premium. And as you go up the hierarchy, you have more and more features that are available within each one of those standards. So we realize certainly that some companies might want just basic services. Some may want call recording and some of the other things that are advanced. So you can pick and choose within your own enterprise which services to use. And what's interesting also is that a lot of organizations, as they come back to work or migrate to the cloud, are dispensing with the actual handset. So as Abe showed you, most of these services, including calling, can be done from your computer. So there's no need to have another device, basically, if you're that kind of worker and don't need to have an actual phone next to the computer. So it can save you some money that way, of course, and it's designed to save money, time, and improve productivity. So I'm hoping that we accomplished our goal today of bringing you up to speed on some of the services that are available to enterprises. And you can also be assured that your suppliers, your customers, and the like are also looking at these services. So if they want to use them in their businesses, it might be very beneficial for you to have them so you can go back and forth in the same kind. So I think we have some questions coming in.
Yes. So one of them is, does it integrate with Outlook and Office 365? That is yes, you can integrate, where it'll automatically open Outlook invite when you hit the schedule. And like you saw, I was able to search on the search tab, and it'll search also my Outlook contacts as well. The data is stored in the cloud by Cisco infrastructure. So all messaging meeting is handled by Cisco. So everything is handled in the cloud with all of their multiple data centers. Everything is encrypted end to end. How to reach the Dialpad initially. So the Dialpad has its own calling tab. So let me share really quick so you can see that. So if I come here to the fourth icon, here is the calling tab, and that here is the Dialpad. On the mobile, you'll see the calling tab there as well. And then you'll hit the little plus sign, and you'll see the keypad here. Right?
Somebody asked if there's a recording for this, and the answer is yes. It'll be on our IPFone YouTube channel.
See any more questions? Are notes for this meeting available? Yes, we have it recorded, so you can rewatch this.
And also, just to let whoever's on know that if your organization would like to have a, sort of a private demo or meeting with IPFone, please send us an email. We'll be sending you some follow-up material with a email address for that request, and we can schedule it for other people in your organization who might want to get involved in looking at these kinds of products and services.
Yes, it does integrate with Active Directory. If you go to let me see, the next one is how much space is in Cisco. So every user has about 5 gigs of storage space, but it becomes a pool. So let's say you have 100 users, you'll have that combined 5 gigs of all 100 users as a allocated storage space. And yes, you can invite external participants. So for example, if I come here to the meeting space, I can look for one here called external that I know I have. Here is one. So here's some external participants here. If I go to the People's tab, you'll notice that I have a bunch of people outside of the organization. Most of them are from Cisco, but you can invite anybody. It doesn't have to be just internal contacts. You will get a warning sign up here, letting you know in an amber orange look, letting you know that there's people in this space outside of your organization, giving you a reminder. And you also notice in the message down here that it gives you that orange look as well, letting you know that there's external participants in this particular space. All right. Any questions? I think we're good on questions. And yes, we could share and upload files using the attachment. So far, I haven't seen any cap on the file size. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today.
Okay, we really appreciate you taking the time to look at our flagship product offering, IPFone with Cisco Webex. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we hope to hear from you soon.
Thanks again.